Hey all, Haley here. I am getting ready to wrap up this painting. It's Devil's Bridge in Sedona, if it looks familiar to anyone who's been to Sedona. This is a commission and I used gouache as the medium. It's a French medium, and it's basically an opaque version of watercolor. So it derives from an Italian word that means puddle, and basically pigment is broken down through water. And this process, again, to the, I guess, untrained eye, it looks a lot like watercolor, but it just is a lot less transparent. But we pretty much use the same techniques for the most part. I'm going to show in this video my technique that I used in some time lapses and a few slowed down segments. But I just wanted to show you before that the tools I used and really my setup here at the hotel. A lot of you have been asking what tools do I use, and kind of like if you haven't come in to see me paint live here in the lobby of Hotel Kansas City during my 3-month residency, I just wanted to show you how everything looks and where I'm set up, and just walk through a couple of the tools that I've been using here. Okay, so first of all, my setup is as you walk in the front door, you come in the beautiful space, and here's the front desk. I'm right over here, right by the front desk. So this week I've been working on some commission projects. Back in January I worked on my own pieces, my own collection, so I was working on really large canvases. But a couple of the commission projects that I'm working on will be framed on paper. So I use this board that I've actually had since I was in art school in college, and it's really nice because basically when you work with big pieces of paper, you clip the paper on. But since I'm using a smaller piece and I wanted it to sit in the center of the easel, I just taped it on. And I'm gonna cut it down just to trim it a little bit, so it'll be a nice, satisfying reveal when I rip that tape off. So another thing that comes in handy is this iPad and iPad stand. I use it for a lot of different purposes. I use it to do time lapses. I put my phone in here. I'll use it to talk, kind of like I'm doing right now when I'm on the screen. But mostly it gives me photo references. So for this specific painting, the client, one of my besties, actually this is me in the middle. Do you see me? This girl right here. And two of my other best friends, the one who ordered this painting is over here because she was too scared to get out on Devil's Bridge. A lot of people actually miss this, but this is a hole. We walked across it after this long hike, so we were shaky, it was kind of scary, but it's such a beautiful setting. And I'm gonna show you in the time lapse why I started the background wash in pink. You'll see areas where it washes out a little bit, and pink is that background color. That's really the tone of the painting that I wanted to get, because as you'll see in the original, pink is that background color. You'll even see in the sky, it might look blue, but you know, light is kind of a funny thing. There's really pink when you look at it. It's like a pink mixed with the blue. So I wanted pink to be the statement of this piece, and I'm not quite done, but again, I'm going over the tools right now. So this iPad stand really comes in handy. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of AI because I'll sketch out my idea for a composition, and then I'll put in things like, show me water dropping off of a leaf and pooling onto the ground. It helps me get realistic details when I am trying to work on like a very detailed piece, instead of just having to think of it all in my head. Sometimes I need a photo for reference. So just put this right by my canvas so I can easily refer back to it. And sometimes I go between 2 or 3 images just to really help me get the details. Okay, so here's my giant easel. You see how tall it is? It's probably about 12 feet, and it can hold really, really large canvases. So basically, I move this down, and when I do that, I can move that up, and it can fit a really, really large canvas. And then I can just, like I had it before, I want it at eye level when I'm painting. So if I'm using something smaller, then I'll move it up like this, and it just hooks. There's a hook right here that helps me move it up and down. So it's super nice. My husband got me this for Christmas. You can also hold tools in here, pencils, paintbrushes, whatever you want. Okay, so over here, I have pretty much all my tools that I use to paint. For gouache, I have this really cool Japanese gouache set. And these are little, tiny little pieces that come out. It's kind of hard to travel with, but let's see if I can hold it and get any to fall out. See how they can come out? So they're individual, which means I can refill them. And that's super cool, makes it less wasteful. But also, sometimes you only use a lot of one color. You don't need to get a whole new thing. You can just trade that one out. And I also have all of these. Gosh, it's so satisfying to see them all in here. So most people think of watercolor and they think of these little palettes right here in watercolor sets. And again, the medium gouache is very similar. It's just instead of a transparency like watercolor, it's very opaque. But I like to use both watercolor and gouache with tubes. I'll use a combination using these palettes, but with the tubes it acts a lot more like acrylic. I just feel like you can get more on your brush, and I kind of prefer using the tubes. So this is my setup today. Otherwise, all my acrylic paints are over here on this little side setup that I have. So sometimes when I'm painting with acrylic, I'll use those. Traditionally, oil is my preferred medium, but because I'm here in this beautiful hotel lobby, the scent of oil being so pungent is just a no bueno. So I can't use oil in here, plus it dries super slowly. And in here with my limited time, limited days, I have to work with acrylic because it dries a lot faster, and then I can start working on it the very next day. Okay, other tools. I usually have pins. This one I'm borrowing from the hotel just because I really, really love how it works. It's a nice ballpoint pen. My eraser, I like to work with this triangle eraser, the tri-tip. I don't know, it's just my favorite. I feel like it works really well. It's easy to hold. And then I have these super nice water-based, non-toxic fine liner pens. I do my best to find eco-friendly alternatives to art products, just because I'm using my hands a ton, and I'm just worried about toxins. So that's one that I really recommend. I'm not a big fan of using pencils. I love pens, but when I do use pencils for certain things, like sketching out the beginning of a mock-up, I really love these raw cedar pens. It has an eraser on it, and this eraser is actually like a super nice, I'm trying to find an angle where it's not so blurry, maybe. Yeah, there we go, if I go farther. These erasers on these pencils are actually really great. So I'll usually use this if it's something small out of convenience, and then if I'm doing a big area, I'll erase with this tri-tip. I have a pencil sharpener, but it gives, with this raw wood, it's such a nice smell and a nice feeling, and it gives such a great point. So I love that pencil. This holds my brushes. Both my grandparents passed away. We went through their apartment and kind of picked things out, my family members and I grabbed this one. My grandma on the other side is actually the one who's a professional China painter, and I have a few things from her that I use for art as well. Quite a few things actually, but from my two grandparents, neither of them were artists, but they had this in their china cabinet, and I thought it'd be nice because it's functional, something that I don't have to just like put in a drawer, but instead I can use every day and think of them. These are all the brushes that I bring. I liked this wide haired brush right here. It's super soft, as you can see. I'll do like background washes with it, or if it's like a huge canvas that I'm working on, but I pretty much like to have one of every size. I like to have a round head top. I like to have flat head tops. And then for mostly like watercolor and gouache mediums, I'll use this. It's a really soft brush, so it's great for watercolor and any fluid mediums. Really stiff brushes are better for oil and acrylic, and super soft head brushes are better for watercolor and gouache. A couple more pens. For what I use to wipe my brushes with, I like to reuse these napkins. I have so many. I have 2 backups down here that I dry. When they get wet, I dry them here on my easel, and now they're super stiff, as you can see, but they loosen up as soon as they get wet. I'll use these, I don't know, I probably have 100 times. That's kind of how I stay more sustainable instead of using napkins. And I also use these for my classes too. So I'll take these cotton table napkins and I'll bring like 20 of them, and I'll use them over and over in workshops I teach. Here is my water glass. I actually forgot my water cup today. I realized I brought it home so I could paint over the weekend, and so I'm using one from the hotel, but gotta have water here, definitely, especially with gouache and watercolor. And then I have my little tape. I use this for many things. It's my own branded tape. It's super cool. It's actually compostable. I'm holding the camera so I can't really show you, but it's really light, as you can see. I cut it off for all kinds of things, like when I'm writing a thank you note for original paintings, I attach them to my original paintings. I put them on the back of original paintings and prints. I use them to like sign my name, and I'll also use them, when I'm doing like an exhibit, I'll put them on gifts that I give out. I give away matchboxes here. Usually I hand paint them and I put them back in here, but it looks like they were all taken over the weekend, which is great, because they're free and that's how people find me. But I sometimes use tape on the matchboxes as well, so they're my own branded matchboxes, kind of like a business card. Other things on my setup over here, coffee, of course. I'm a lame-o and I drink mostly decaf Americano that this gorgeous coffee bar makes me. Every day I leave out this giveaway email sign up, and the giveaway is for one of my prints. So this is how I grow my email list. I'm gonna do another video on how to grow your email list, but while I'm here in residency at the hotel, it's really nice for me to leave these when I'm gone, when I'm not here painting, so people can use this QR code, learn more about me, sign up for my email list, and they're entered to win one of my prints for free. And then lastly in my setup, I have my poetry books. that I made myself, wrote them myself, designed them myself, self-published them, and I sell them here in the lobby. They're also for sale on my website, but they're really beautiful. Sorry, I'm having a hard time holding this and showing you, but handwritten poems. There's some deep photo spreads in here, and it's just a beautiful coffee table book, something great to gift, especially for anyone who's been through hard times, or it references miscarriage, surgery, tough times personally in marriage. So anyone who feels like they can relate to going through a hard time, this poetry book is to encourage that you too, just like the bat, can fly in the dark and succeed. So it's kind of cool. I have a QR code, or people can Venmo me, and they can literally just take their book while they're here. So they get on my website with this QR code and can buy one there, or just Venmo me here, and it's super nice. You could just grab your book and go. It's kind of like the honor system. So that is my whole setup. Certain days it looks a little bit different, but I just wanted to show you that. I'm gonna wrap this painting up here, and then I'm going to post the video of the whole process using this medium gouache. Thanks for following along, and if you have any questions about these tools that I use, I'll link them below in the description, and can't wait to show you this whole process of making this commission piece.
Oh, I see. Thank you.